Look, we turning conversation into application. This ain't for you if you can't handle deep communication. I see too many trying to teach when they need all the teaching. If you can't practice what you preach, then what's the point of speaking? Look, we thank the Lord for another season. Don't think they ready for you, Lee. I think them boys are sleeping. But we gon' hustle every hour like it's our last. Open up your mind, it's the converSAYtion podcast. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the converSAYtion podcast. I am your host, Leon Reed Jones, and this is the place where we turn conversation into application. Super excited for yet another episode. These moments that I get to speak in front of you guys and talk about my life or bring people on is always a joy, and it's an outlet for me. So I'm excited to talk about some of the things that I've learned and some of the things that have been going on in my world. One thing in particular, I was reading a devotion a few days ago, and it really made me take a step back and reflect on my life and the choices that I continue to want to better myself in. So the scripture that it took place from was Psalms 34:18, and it says, "The Lord is close to those, or to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit." So when I sat with this verse from Psalms 34:18, I thought about the different things that I've dealt with or am dealing with currently from a leader standpoint, a friend standpoint, a mentor standpoint, because I'm always just trying to do the right thing. And I think when you try to become a perfectionist, or when you want things done a certain way, you take nothing less than perfection, or you take nothing less than greatness. So anytime that I mess up, or I may not get it right, or I know that I'm messing up and I need to do better, it can sometimes weigh on me because I know that I can do better. I know that I'm capable of being better. So I'm in a chapter of my life where I just want confirmation that I'm doing the right thing and doing what God will have me to do. And sometimes I wrestle with that because something that my friend, shout out to Ryan, he said to me a few years ago, he was like, we could be doing things that seem morally right or seem good on the outside looking in, but sometimes we have to know like where our assignments lie. Like everything is not your assignment. And it took me a while to, recently understand that, because I'm a person who cares a lot, a person who wants to see everybody win. And I feel like a lot of times I could overextend myself, or I feel like I could, in a way, overstep boundaries to where, because I care so much, or because I want to see things turn out the way that I want to see them, it could cause me not to follow the path that God would have for me. So as I'm going through this and I'm thinking about all of these things, here comes this verse from my devotional thought from Psalms 34:18. The Lord, basically helps and heals the brokenhearted. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not necessarily brokenhearted in this case, but there's some things that I'm like, Lord, like, this is really weighing on me. Like, what are you going to do about this? Or I want this situation to get better, or I want things in my life to reflect that I'm on the right track with you. And recently my pastor preached a sermon about a week or two ago, and he talked about how we have to pick up our cross and follow God. And I thought that was very interesting when I scanned back over the text of this particular sermon, because it was sequenced in a way where it's like, first you must pick up your cross, then and only then can you follow God. Without picking up your cross, you can't truly walk in the way that God will have you to go. You can't truly be the person and see the healing and see the things that God will have you to see if you don't pick up your cross. And that takes a lot. Part of it is, as I like to say, dying to self daily, dying to the thoughts, the habits that you used to that haven't gotten you anywhere, or dying to the words that you may speak about yourself or about someone else, right? Dying to these desires that you may have and taking on the ways of God. That's obviously, we know, easier said than done, but it's a day in and day out process. That's just one of the things that I got from that sermon. Like, it's not just I pick up my cross and then I can follow God on Monday, but then I can, I'm good. I don't need it anymore, because it's something that we have to continuously and consciously do and ask God to help us to do every single day, because I know what it's like to not do that. I believe last season I talked about how I was just in this state of just routine, and there's nothing wrong with routine at all. But I was just in this place of, I was getting up, I was praying because that's what I know how to do. That's what I was raised to do. And it wasn't really intentional. I was going to work, coming back home, going back out to the mentoring program, or doing whatever else I needed to do. And that was just, I was doing it out of habit because this is my schedule, this is what I know, and not really being intentional. And I felt so far from God. All the while, I'm a leader at my church, I'm a mentor. The kids at my job, they come to me about advice, and I'm just going, and not really taking the time to really process how I feel. I know exactly how I feel, but I'm not dealing with it. I know what I'm going through, but I'm not really taking the time to be intentional and give it to God. So after I recognized that, I started being more and more intentional, and I saw the difference in that. But to go back to the devotional thought of Psalms 34:18, when it, says, God is close to those who are brokenhearted, and he saved those who are crushed in spirit. I'm not going to say I'm brokenhearted, or I'm not going to say I'm crushed in spirit, but there are some things that weigh on me or that are concerning to me that I just want peace over. And something that I realized is that we could want so much for a situation, whether it be ourselves, whether it be others. We could get ahead of God, or we could try to overdo things to where they end up in shambles, or they not end up the way that God intended, because we could become microwavable people. In other words, like we want it right away. We want it in an instant, because we don't want to go through the pain. We don't want to deal with everything that comes with going back to the sermon, picking up that cross and following God. Picking up that cross and following God comes with being comfortable with getting uncomfortable, not doing things as they once were. And for me, I feel like now more than ever, not even just from a leadership standpoint, but as a person who, publicly wants to serve God and let people know that you can experience God's love too, his blessings and his restoration, whatever you need. I think because I've experienced that, I've seen family and friends experience that, I want that for so many people. But I feel as though a lot of times I could get in the way of that because I want it so bad for somebody else and even myself, to where I can get in between God's plans and get ahead of his timeline instead of letting him work things out and really, truly trusting. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've had to deal with in this season. Like, God, I trust you, but on one hand, do I trust you with this? Or do I trust you with this person that I'm praying for, these people I'm praying for, right? Like, I know what you can do in my life, but weirdly, I'm thinking, Lord, I don't want anything to happen, or I don't want this situation to get like this. So I just want you to fix it. I just want everything to be the way that you intended for it to be. And that has really, weighed on me, and it's kept me in a lot of prayer because I just want the best, not just for myself, but everybody that I come in contact with, because I've experienced and I still experience God's love. And there's so many people that feel as though they're not worthy, they don't add up or amount, because we all been through different, situations and different things. And I want to be a witness and an example that when you keep God first in your life and when you continue day by day to make that choice to allow him to move in your life, you could start to see the change. And it's tough because, the hardest part, my pastor says, about picking up that cross and following God is the cost of the cause. So in other words, God at some point is going to call all of us to what our divine purpose is on earth. And we have to continue to seek him every day to know exactly what that is. But that's the tough part, because you have to leave behind habits. You got to die to certain things. You have to be restored in certain areas. You have to realize that, hey, I thought this was what life was about, but it's not. Or this is what truly matters, but God shows you as he's working through you and he's molding you that this is what truly matters. And I've always told people that, don't miss out on yourself. Don't miss out on what God has for you. Don't miss out on the purpose and the plan that he has. And so this is, even now, something that Lord, give me peace over this. Give me guidance on what you would have me to do. Help me not to feel like I'm overplaying my part, or feel like I'm, getting in the way of what you have. And it's been a season where it's like, Lord, I just truly, if I had to make it a broad statement or simply put, I just want to be on the side of right. I just want to do the right thing. Whether I lose friends, people disagree with me, I just want to do what's right. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to be a person who looks down on other situations and things like that. I just want to show people that God's love is real and his restoration and his keeping power is real. So as I'm reading this devotional and I'm thinking about these sermons, it's just like this race that we run, this walk that we have with God is something that we need to constantly ask him for wisdom and guidance on. And if you're a person like me, I don't really like asking people for anything. I try my best not to. I've done a pretty good job. Now I take that back. I am kind of stubborn in a way. I can be. That's not my default mindset, but I'm a person who's like, I'd rather figure it out, or I'd rather get it done, even when it comes to praying. But even God has showed me, like, you need people. You hear people say all the time, I don't need this person. I don't need that person. I'm self-made. I did it on my own. But, and it may feel like that, given the circumstances, but I truly realize that how vital people are in our journey. You have people come along that are impactful. I have several mentors that have impacted my life in a very special way, and all of them aren't in a church. I have people that I've grown close to that have blessed my life and have, made me a better person, even as of recent. Just having a bond with someone who, you're super close to, or you feel like has changed your life and made you look at perspective in a different way. So we need people. God puts people in our life to show us ourselves and help us realize that there are like-minded people. There are people that out here that want to do what you want to do. There are people that have been through what you have been through, and it can help you when they share their stories. And so as I'm thinking about all of these things, I took a few notes down when it comes to these things. And it's talking about, the part of guidance and wisdom that I can have in reading this verse and listening to all of these sermons that have blessed me. So one of them was stay prayerfully and patient. Sometimes that's the greatest act of love. So when you think about all of these burdens that you may have or all of these things that you are dealing with, it's first important to pray. That sounds cliche and that may feel like, oh, I've heard that before. My grandma said that before, but I've seen how prayer can calm a storm. I've seen how prayer can change a situation, So that's one, being prayerful and also being patient. And I think that's the thing for me. I just want to get things done. I just want to see the healing take place, whether it's in my life, my friend's life. And a lot of times, God's timing is not our timing. And that goes back to the cost of the call. But number one, be prayerful and patient. Most importantly, I should have put this as number one, allow God to guide my steps. I think we've walked our own race instead of really, truly depending on God. There's a quote that I heard Inky Johnson say, and he says, how we do small things is how we do all things. So if, I can't trust you with $5, how could I ever trust you with $500? If you can't make your bed up, how can you possibly think that you'll be responsible at a job? So to connect this to today's topic, when you hear how you do small things is how you do all things. Like if I can't trust God with the small things, how can I trust him with the big things? If I can't trust him to protect me, how can I protect him, or how can I trust him to protect my peace or protect a secret that nobody knows about? If I can't trust God, if I can trust God with my purpose, but I can't trust him with my finances, it's like, do I really trust him? Do I really believe that he is who he says he is? And there are times that I have been in my walk where it's like, Lord, I know you're going to do this. I know that. I know that you're going to look out for me in this area. But when it comes to Salt Ministries taking off, I don't know. By the looks of things, I don't think it's going to do what I had intended it to do. But maybe it's not about what I had intended for it to do. It's all about what God wants for it. Like, Lord, I know you're going to show up at the Federation, but will you be able to show up at this event that we're doing or for the young adults? Lord, I know that you're transforming lives over here, but what about some people I'm connected to? Are you going to do that? I'm a little worried, and because it seems like this path that's taking place, I don't know. But God reassured me the other night. Y'all that follow me on TikTok, y'all will understand what I'm about to say when I say this. A special friend of mine, we were on FaceTime the other morning, and I heard a conversation with her and her kids, and we have been talking about some things, and just the change that I saw in her tone, in her demeanor, and how she dealt with things. People couldn't physically see, but I was just amazed at that. And it's just like the little reminders that as the verse said, God is close to those who are brokenhearted and will save those who are hurt. And in that moment, I was truly happy, because it's just like, God is always there. It's just a reminder that I need to continue to pick up my cross and allow God to help me follow him, allow God to guide my steps. And just that one action alone just showed me that everything is going to be okay, not just for me, but for those who I'm connected to. So when you think about some of the worst times that you've been through, you may be in a season right now where it seems like nothing can go right. Nothing makes sense, or I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing what I know. Y'all know I love me some quotes and some songs, and y'all know I love my boy Jonathan McReynolds. So he has a song that's called Overrated. And he talks about how being strong is overrated. In other words, he says that for once, referring to God, I'll just lean on you and let you do what you do, God, because strong is overrated. A lot of times we feel like we have to carry the burdens on our own. We feel like we can't reach out for help. We feel like we can't say how we truly feel, whether that be because of environments, whether that be because of judgment, or whether we feel like we're less than. Being strong is overrated. It's not to say that being strong isn't a good thing, but in this context, it's overrated when you can cast all your cares, as the Bible says, to God, and he'll answer those things. He has big enough shoulders and hands to be able to withstand those burdens, and not only withstand them, but move mountains to make sure that you're healed and your family is protected. And all of those who knew you before this will say, man, it's something different about you. It's something different about how you live now, how you speak, how you handle situations. It's because we were prayerful. We allow God to guide our steps. And we realize that being strong is overrated, and we can lean on God for whatever. And the thing I love about God is that he's not looking for us to be perfect for him to love us. When he died on the cross, that was his many ways of showing us that even though I'm dying for people that I know are going to go against me, I'm still going to go ahead and do it anyway. When Jesus died on the cross for us and he made that sacrifice, he's not looking for anybody to be perfect. He's just asking us through him to pick up that cross and continue to follow him each and every day. He's just asking us to surrender our lives over to him so that he can get the glory, and your mess can become a miracle. Your struggle can be formed into success, and your life can be changed for the better. And not only that, you can share it with someone along the way. It's not just for you. This path, this race that you run, this walk that you walk, it's not just for you. It's for at some point when you get the healing, it's not to stop growing, but to continue to go and share what God has done in your life. And I just believe, and I'm encouraged that as long as we trust God fully, he'll do exactly what he promised that he's going to do. And Isaiah talks about not being afraid because God will hold us in his right hand. And I'm just reminded every single day, whether I see a friend or I see God moving in my life, that, there's no purpose without pain. There's no struggle. There's no success without struggle. But God did promise that He'll calm the storm. He'll be that shining light for you, and he'll walk with you every step of the way. Our job is just to not be perfect, not to wait until everything is perfect or wait until we have it all together, because we'll be waiting all day. He just asks that you come as you are and just be obedient to the plan and the purpose that he has for your life. Because it says in Psalms 34:18 that he draws close to the brokenhearted, and those who are hurt and rely on him will be saved. Thank y'all for tuning in to the converSAYtion podcast. I'll see y'all same time, same place.